fast approaching the 110 caps. They are a team on the rise, and they will be looking to continue a good run against the Matildas of late. A draw and a win in their last three, having often played second fiddle against the Australian side. A roar from the Sydney Football Stadium as we get underway. Australia versus Korea Republic, just 8 months out from an Asian Cup in which the Matildas will obviously start favourites after their success at the Women's World Cup here 3 years ago, Amy Chapman. But it's a Matildas side that haven't had it all their own way in the last year, starting with the Olympics, the She Believes Cup. They need to bounce back. They need to show their fans what their full potential is.
Yeah, good evening, Robbie. Obviously, Matilda's still looking for their first win of 2025. Some big names out today, but some big opportunities for this future talent of the Matildas.
That's right, Ellie Carpenter and Hayley Rasso pulling out on the eve of the match, as well as Mackenzie Arnold with that upper arm strain. There is coach Tommy Samani, the Scottish-born but legend of women's football in Australia in terms of his coaching contribution to the Matildas. Catley delivers the first set piece. It's nodded down. It might yet fall. Appeals for a handball from Caitlin Ford. It was Holly McNamara that had that first half an opening.
And if her A-League women's campaign's anything to go by, she's finding the ball at her feet often and in great finishing form, Holly McNamara, so a big opportunity for her today.
She has been in outstanding form. The Matildas have it back again immediately with Caitlin Ford. Here is Chi So-yun, the vastly experienced number 10. It's kept in there by Chu Hyo-ju. Plays a football for Ottawa. Strong challenge from McNamara. Yallop with Van Egmond. Lays it back. The opportunity for Kyra Cooney-Cross. Her effort blocked. But immediately the Matildas onto the front foot.
Some exciting moments there for the Matildas. Caitlin Ford showing her strength in that number 9 position. But Kyra Cooney-Cross just overran it slightly there. Good opening few minutes from the Matildas.
Alana Kennedy, who's played every minute of the new North American NWSL so far this season. 3 matches, 3 starts for her new side, Angel City, playing in midfield as opposed to at the back where we see her this evening. There is the Korea Republic coach, the 49-year-old Shin Sang-woo, has a long history of coaching women's club sides in Korea Republic. Now took over from Colin Bell, the Englishman who led Korea Republic for 5 years and to the World Cup a couple of years ago. Foul there by Casey Fair through the back of Jamila Rankin. Kennedy with Cooney-Cross. Now Winona Heatley, speaking to Neve Owen, said pre-game that she's still learning her craft in the middle of the park. It's Tommy Samani that gave her the nod there. The centre back by trade as Charlie Grant, who was always full of running, goes charging after that. No such thing as a lost cause. There's the captain Lee with Ji. It's Lee Go-min, number 19, who's won the throw. That will be Chu to take for Korea Republic. Ji So-yun, almost bundled over by Heatley. Plays a football in America for Seattle Reign. Ji, after a spell back in Korea. Nice little touch through the legs of Emily Van Egmond, the former Chelsea great. She was the one that got the winner against Australia. There is her former teammate, Sam Kerr, back in the fold for the Matildas and just spotted by the crowd.
Wonderful reception for Sam Kerr. You can see how much she's loved by all Australians, and it's fantastic to see her back around her teammates. It's been a tumultuous 18 months for Sam. It's difficult, a long way from home. ACL recovery is very tough, so it's great to see Sam back in the mix and hopefully one step closer to seeing her back on the field.
Who better to have alongside her than security and the Minister of Defence watching from the stands. Long from Kim Min-jung, earning her 12th cap, the Korea Republic goalkeeper this evening. For the moment, Shin has been alternating his 3 goalkeepers. Kim that gets the nod this evening. Again, Heatley looking to charge forward at every opportunity. She brings a great energy into that central midfield position where she is very much the defensive element to try and give Kyra Cooney-Cross a little bit more license to get forward.
Yeah, she's got wonderful vision, Winnie Heatley. She's a very versatile player, can play at central defence as well, but to be able to slot in at international level in the number 6 position, you need a lot of 360 vision, great composure on the ball, and she's shown all of those things in the start she's had so far.
Grant with Kennedy, now Catley. 3rd match in a row for Steph Catley in the centre of defence. Perhaps more familiar for Matildas fans as a left back, but has been playing this season almost exclusively as a centre back with Arsenal. That ball out for a goal kick. Let's head down to the sidelines where Neve Owens is with us this evening. Nevo, can you hear anything down there?
The vibe is oh so good already, Robbie, and it has elements of that World Cup campaign, doesn't it? The fact that during Calfgate, every time we saw Sam Kerr on the big screen, the crowd went wild, and that's exactly what we've heard here tonight as well. It was interesting hearing from the team this week the difference that her reintroduction to camp has made. We know during the She Believes Cup in the US, it wasn't a happy camp. There were issues plaguing the team off the field as well as on it. But here we hear this week with Sammy's return, there has been a real vibe, a real energy back to the team. And it'll be interesting, Robbie, to see if we see that translate now into a result on the park, because you mentioned the Minister of Defence sitting there beside Sammy. Ellie Carpenter is up there as well, as is Hayley Rasso. So some big injuries this week for the team to contend with, some of their biggest names in the stand watching on to see whether this side can get the job done out in the middle.
Thank you, Neve. Yes, there were a couple of call-ups, not to play, but to be training players, if you like. There are some of the most experienced Matildas going around. We heard as well a lot of the fans here, big fans of Ellie Carpenter and Hayley Rasso as well. Katrina Gorry pulled out of this 2-game series before, as she was limped out of a game for her club, West Ham, at the weekend. And then there are long-term absentees as well. Amy Sayer is another we haven't seen for a while. Sian Fryer, who has burst onto the scene in the last 12 months, is another who's missing. So there are a number of absentees, but it's still a strong squad, isn't it? Yeah,
not to mention Courtney Vine there as well. She had a blistering World Cup. But with these silver linings comes opportunities for younger players, and some big opportunities. Certainly a lot of experience missing from this lineup. Katrina Gorry, big shoes to fill, not literally in that number 6 position, but she holds the tempo. She's very composed.
A foul by Chu Hyo-ju. Plays a football for the Ottawa Rapids. And he also played for Suwon and Incheon Red Angels, a club who Australian football fans may be getting to know soon. Incheon Red Angels take on Melbourne City in the Champions League semi-finals in a few weeks' time. And about a third of this Korea Republic squad actually play for Incheon Red Angels. So I'm sure Melbourne City players, fans and coaching staff alike will be keeping a very close watch on this performance as well. And in Newcastle on Monday, if you haven't got your tickets for that, search Matildas on the internet. You can make sure you don't miss out in Newcastle on Monday. One for Holly McNamara to chase. Foul. Goes down under the challenge of Shin Na-yong.
Some wonderful movement from McNamara there. You can see she comes to the ball and checks and still has that speed and power, even though she's had so much time out of the game, to get in behind the defence and draws the foul.
Well, she didn't play against Korea Republic in India in 2022. Holly McNamara. It was just days after she'd made her Matildas debut, but she'd already ruptured her ACL for a second time in her young career. Something that was to happen a third time about a year and a half ago, but she's back now and she's on fire. She has been scoring goals for fun in the A-League Women, and she'll be looking, just as she did inside the first minute, to perhaps get on the end of something here. Cooney Cross steps over, Catley delivers again. Van Egmond, touch back with Rankin. She plays a football for Hoffenheim in the Frauen-Bundesliga in Germany. They made the cup semi-finals last week, losing out to Bayern Munich. She has been a regular feature in that side, Jamila Rankin. She was called up for the Brazil series, but didn't feature. Wearing the number 27, she'll take this throw for the Matildas. Still just 21 years of age, so another with plenty of time ahead of her in her career. Here come Korea Republic. Ball wide on the left with Choi. Her cross. Chu. That's all the way back to Shin Na-yong. Lim Son Ju, the other central defender. Here's Chu again up the line towards Choi Yuri.
Matilda's holding their defensive shape nicely in these early moments. They've obviously conceded 8 goals in their last 3 games so far this year, so I imagine that's a big focus point for Tom Samani and the Matildas.
One clean sheet in that 6-0 win over Chinese Taipei in the last 12 matches. That's going back to a 2-0 win over China just before the Olympics last year. It has been an issue. Kennedy looks towards Yallop. Just allowed to run out of play by the right back, Kim Hye-ri, another of the vastly experienced players in this Korea Republic side. Kim into the feet of the captain Lee Yong-ju, number 17, playing at the base of midfield. You can see ahead of her Ji So-yoon is directing traffic and players ahead of her. It's won back by Yallop, who shoots, and it's well saved by Kim Min-jong.
You can see that press from Matilda's working out for them there. Ambitious from Yallop. But the Koreans trying to be composed, playing out from the back, but Matilda's holding strong.
Well done by Choi Yuri. Kennedy. Grant up the line for Emily Van Egmond. Good movement from Caitlin Ford. Slipped momentarily, back on her feet. Now she's got an option. Charlie Grant down this right-hand side. She looks up and crosses for Holly McNamara. Van Egmond again, trying to chip the ball towards Yallop at the back post.
Some lovely combination play here. Caitlin Ford always involved. A great dashing run from Charlie Grant as well. Big shoes to fill with Ellie Carpenter, who's famous for making those outside runs. A little wasteful perhaps in the final third, but still some good movement.
First corner of the contest. That will be the left boot of Steph Catley. Cap number 136 for her this evening, the 5th most. Behind, of course, Claire Polkinghorne's all-time record. The two Arsenal players hatching a plan, perhaps, as Queenie Cross comes to have a word. Catley gives the signal and delivers near post. Caitlin Ford. Queenie Cross does well against Chi. Catley again. Flag stays down. Queenie Cross still. Oh, that's clever for Heatley. Still in there toiling, so is Caitlin Ford. The ball might yet bounce in the Matildas' favour. And Ji So-yoon, furious with the referee, basically stopped playing and called the free kick there herself.
A little messy in the final third there, but Queenie Cross showing she's cheeky, she's clever, and she's willing to do it. She's executed this beautifully. A little out of reach for Winnie Heatley.
Van Egmond nod down for Ford, trying to take it with her. Dispossessed by Shin and Lee. And then just a nudge in the back of the Korea Republic captain. Lee Yongju, 32 years of age, plays a football for Levante in Spain. The only Spanish-based player in this squad. A few in North America. We haven't seen too much of the 17-year-old Casey Fair so far. There is Ji So-yoon. Chu with the throw up the line towards Ji Lee Go-min. Gives chase. And Alana Kennedy's just able to prevent that ball going out for a corner. First bit of work to do for Tegan Micah between the posts. Catley. Here's Arsenal. Will take on Ellie Carpenter's Lyon in the UEFA Women's Champions League semi-final. Sam Kerr's Chelsea will take on Barcelona, the defending Champions League winners, in the other semi-final there. And of course plenty of interest for Holly McNamara and Leah Davidson, who's on the bench this evening for the Matildas in the Asian Champions League this year.
Yeah, these two friendlies will be great insight, both domestically and internationally. I think holistically it's so important that Matildas play regularly against competitive Asian teams. Obviously they're the gateway to every major tournament for the Matildas.
The Matildas bench looking on. They'll all be eager to get their opportunity at some point in this contest as well. Now Caitlin Ford has been caught there. I think it was the captain, Lee. Well, it's Lee Go-min. In fact, it's Choi Yu-ri who's just been backing in. I think it's a clash of heads in the end. Certainly nothing untoward by the Korean number 11. And they're calling for a bit of medical assistance for Caitlin Ford. That is not a good sign. There is Choi Yu-ri, the 30-year-old who plays with Emily Van Egmond at Birmingham City. They're 2 points behind the London City Lionesses in their race for promotion. Interesting story about Choi Yu-ri. When she finished university, she went into the draft system in Korea, and she was drafted by the army team, and she immediately said, I have no intention of joining the army or playing for the army. And she didn't play for a year before they changed the rules and said that you can choose who you play for. You don't have to play for an army side out of the draft. Well, there we see Caitlin Ford with the nose bleeding there. Let's head down to Neve Owens, who may have more for us on the sidelines.
As soon as Caitlin Ford went down, Robbie, the indication was made for Mary Fowler, Michelle Heyman and Caitlin Torpey has just joined them as well to start warming up here on the sidelines. It'll be interesting to see how the likes of Mary Fowler is used tonight. She's been notching up some massive minutes with Manchester City over there in the UK. A huge amount of responsibility, a huge amount of expectation in that club environment. It'll be interesting to see how much game time she gets from Tom Samani here tonight. Certainly warming up as Tom Samani has a really big chat with Steph Catley, his skipper, and Mel Andrietta just a moment ago putting Emily Van Egmond through her paces as well. So it'll be interesting if we see a little tactical shift after this break in play.
Well, we're hopeful that Caitlin Ford can remain on the field. She's a huge X-factor in the attack for the Matildas, already missing out on Gorry and Rasso, who has had 6 goal involvements, either an assist or a goal in her last 8 performances. So missing Hayley Rasso, and to lose Caitlin Ford this early on would be very tough for the Matildas to bounce back from, but certainly having Mary Fowler on the bench is a pretty good option.
Well, it has been the Matildas on top. There we saw when the number 8, Kim Shin-ji, was dispossessed by Tamiki Yallop. She is one of the few Matildas to have actually scored against Korea Republic. Well, current Matildas, that is. When she scored in the 2-1 win in an Olympic qualifier back in 2011. Tamiki Yallop, she's been around the Matildas for a long time now, 15th year. It'll take more than a bloody nose to keep Caitlin Ford.
Just waiting for that Alana Kennedy moment where she looks up at the big screen and sees she's got a right angle in the nose there, but luckily it's looking quite straight for Caitlin Ford at the moment.
She didn't feature for Arsenal last weekend, Caitlin Ford, but is a very important part of the Gunners squad. Currently sitting second in the WSL, but a few points behind Chelsea, who have stepped on the accelerator while others have fallen around them. Here is Ji So-yoon, Korea's all-time leading appearance maker, all-time leading goal scorer. Inside with Lee Yong-ju. Ji So-yoon looking for the first-time ball, intercepted by Cooney Cross. And Rankin all the way back to Tegan Micah. Plays a football for Liverpool, but since the last international window hasn't featured for the Reds. Lost her place again to the returning Rachel Laws after having a good spell between the posts. Yallop, the nod down towards Van Egmond. Lee Go-min turns inside onto the right. A heavy touch, but able to make amends only just. By Choi Yuri. Kim Hye-ri under pressure with the captain, Lee. Back again to Lim. Nice passage of play from Korea Republic.
Yeah, good spell of possession for them. It's been a big focus point for them is around the speed of play. They've always technically been very capable, can keep possession, but the big focus and the push to keep up with these European and American national teams is about their speed and transition.
Well, that was their big shortcoming at the World Cup, wasn't it? A couple of years ago. Here they come again. The Taeguk ladies, as they are known. Chip ball to the back post. Rankin, good header to pick out Van Egmond. Here's Ford. And Holly McNamara stepping on the accelerator ahead of her. Looking to get in behind at every opportunity. Holly McNamara scored 11 goals in her last 9 A-League women's matches. 12 in 15 since returning from that third ACL injury. Very nicely done, Peatley. Beautiful turn. And inviting Yallop forward down the right-hand side. She looks up early. Ji So-yoon, as so often is the case, in the right place at the right time to put her foot on the ball. Shin Na-yong back for the Korea Republic, number 10. Lee Go-min with Ji. Chu, again, it's nice football. Shin Na-yong. Good hassling though, forcing the error from Lim Son-ju. Cross with Catley. McNamara, touch a little heavy. Playing with her back to goal in those instances, and there unable to keep her footing as she stretched for that one. Now Lee Go-min on the attack for Korea Republic. Space on the right-hand side. She's spotted it. It's a good ball out there as well. Opportunity first, perhaps of the evening for Korea Republic. Lee Yong-ju back outside with Kim Hye-ri, who crosses in. There's nobody there though for the Reds, and the very promising move breaks down.
Yeah, it's the first time the Matildas' defence have looked stretched at all so far in this game, and I thought Jamila Rankin held her position well there. It was a one-on-one. She picked her time to make the tackle, but you can see this maybe a little bit of tired legs out there, change of possession, and they're turning on their heels.
Lana Kennedy once again asking where the midfield is, then looks up, launches one of those trademark big diagonal balls. Kim Min-jong has to come out of her box to clear that under pressure from Holly McNamara. Ji So-yoon back with Chu. Shin Na-yong. Coming off 3 fairly comfortable victories, Korea Republic, in the Pink Ladies tournament in the UAE, where they defeated Thailand 4-0, Uzbekistan 3-0 and India 3-0. Here is Choi Yuri. That's a good ball back inside. The challenge, only pops the ball up to Ji, who shoots. Rapturous applause for Tegan Micah for the first save of the evening.
I think Tilly's got away with one there. Of all the players for the ball to fall to, Ji So-young, she's caused a huge amount of damage to the Matildas in the past. Didn't quite connect with that one, but the first real test for Tegan Micah so far this match.
3 shots for the Matildas so far, but that's the first for Korea Republic, but the first of the match on target. And you're right to remind us that Ji So-young has a fantastic shot on her as well from distance. It was Lydia Williams in goal in India 3 years ago. Charlie Grant, again the touch, letting the Matildas down at the moment when they do find half a yard in the middle of the park. Chu gets it back from Lee Go-min. Shin Na-yong across to Lim Son-ju. Again, forward towards Casey Fair. Scored a hat-trick against Thailand in their Olympic qualifiers, but they didn't make it all the way to the Olympics. Korea Republic, she's their second youngest ever goal scorer behind the number 10. And a woman that holds just about every single record in Korean football, Ji So-young. Here's Lee Go-min. Again, nice little swivel to get the ball onto the left foot. Again, the shot comfortable enough in the end for Tegan Micah.
Beautiful switch play there from Korea. Looking like they're growing in confidence. The more ball they have, the more patient they are in possession, the more luck they're having going forward. Certainly not able to make clear-cut chances, but it seems to be building.
Cooney cross caught out. Here is G again. Space opening up for the shot. Kennedy making the challenge. Now the follow-up from Choi. And she can't keep it down. Clara Cooney-Cross limped out of that challenge as well. It was perhaps ill-advised, the pass into the feet.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was a bit of misfortune where she slipped there, but Matilda's playing with fire here. Ji So-young just the top of the 18-yard box. Was well blocked and well recovered from the Matildas in the end, but that's 3 or 4 half-decent opportunities for Korea Republic.
Importantly, 4 shots in the last 4 minutes. After a bright start for the Matildas, we've seen a couple of passages of play where Korea Republic have been able to put their foot on the ball as well. Here's McNamara with Grant ahead of her. Good run, Charlie Grant. Needs support now. There's not much coming down that right-hand side. She finds Emily Van Egmond with a good pass. Intercepted, though, by Korea captain Lee. Fair finds G. And there's more space here as Korea get on the front foot. Far against Kennedy, her Angel City teammate. Back for Lee Go-min. Caitlin Ford. For McNamara, great pace. Lim thought about intercepting and then realised she wouldn't get there. McNamara still, back with Caitlin Ford, can hit them from distance as well. McNamara again. Can she find space for the shot? In the end, deflected, looping up and comfortable for Kim Min-jung.
Holly McNamara still showing she's got a ton of pace. Even after 3 ACLs at the ripe age of 22, she's showing great initiative, great runs, a little isolated, if anything, when she's receiving the ball. She had to receive it from Caitlin Ford and then wait and wait and wait until she had some support or even a decoy run. But some promising signs there for Holly.
You can still see the war wounds from the weekend's A-League women's action as well, where she knocked a boot in the face. Gee, now is there a problem there in defence for Lim. No sympathy from the teammate, immediately passed him the ball. Shin Na-yong. Hyo-ju does well under pressure from Tamika Yallop.
Bit of a bear hug here from Yallop, but she's been in exhilarating form for Brisbane Roar. She's certainly showing that age is not stopping Tamika Yallop. She's arguably been in some of the best form of her career.
Yallop just named A-League Women's Player of the Month. Brisbane have to arrest their slide though if they want to play finals football. Time running out. They were the surprise package, I think you could say, of the early season. Heavy touch from Lee Ge-min, but it falls invitingly again for Ji, but Chu just can't keep it in play. Melbourne City taking on the Central Coast Mariners tomorrow afternoon on 10 Bold, the first of the double-header on 10 Bold and Paramount Plus from 4:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. The A-League Women's has stopped for the international break, but the men continuing. And a huge weekend with finals football in prospect as well. A few nervous clubs at the moment. Someone is going to miss out. Shin again for Lee Ge-min, who's seeing a lot of the football. So is Ji, starting to become more and more influential. Here she is again, directing traffic with Chu. Lee Ge-min again. Switch of play, it's good football again from Korea Republic. Here's Choi Yuri. Took too long. Holly McNamara coming to help out, but in the end, Korea Republic keep it alive with Lee Yong-ju. Chu with Shin. And Lim. And Matildas happy enough to sit back and allow Korea Republic to have the ball in those defensive areas in their own half.
Both teams at this stage of the game just lacking a little bit of creativity in that final third. Both holding possession well, pressuring well. They're just lacking that little bit of X factor in the final third to get a really clear-cut opportunity on goal. I think the only times the Matildas have been really caught out as well, when they just getting those three central midfielders all a little out of position. You see Winnie Heatley going forward. She's playing well, but we've got to get that balance right. They're used to having Gorry hold that midfield, always keep that anchor point. And I think they're just still working on that combination.
Now, Caitlin Ford decides it's time for a one-woman press on the Korea defence, but they decide to go long. Kim Hye-ri looks up, cuts it back inside with Ji. Now Choi running at Rankin, looking to get down to the byline, cross in, again it's claimed by Tegan Micah. Well, after a bright 15-20 minutes for the Matildas, it's been a bright 15 minutes for Korea Republic here at the Sydney Football Stadium.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of a little bit of fatigue, a little bit of formation, losing formation for the Matildas, but also the Korea Republic growing in confidence. That you can see being coached very much from the sideline to start higher, keep the ball, be patient. Like I said, no one's really penetrated either defence yet.
Kennedy looks long. It's a well-weighted pass for Charlie Grant, who's double-teamed. Shin Na-yong coming across. Charlie Grant not happy with the Japanese assistant on that near side. Yoshimi Yamashita is the central referee from Japan this evening. Chu, helped on by Lee Go-min. Kennedy with Catley. Cooney cross, and you can see the pressure coming from Korea Republic, forcing the Matildas to go long. Heatley, only as far as Lee. Grant does well, gets the better of Chu. Down to the byline, taking on the captain Lee. I think that's gone out for a goal kick, but good initiative, good positive football from Charlie Grant.
Yeah, she doesn't hesitate to make those blistering runs forward. As we mentioned, that's what this right-hand side is famous for with the Matildas. Usually Ellie Carpenter, Hayley Rasso, tons of pace. Charlie Grant's showing she's got pace to match, not a lot to work with there. She's outnumbered, and it fizzles out for the Matildas.
Not too much to cheer about for Ellie Carpenter and Hayley Rasso so far. Carpenter, who was out for a year with her own ACL injury that really gave Charlie Grant the opportunity. Got her first ever international goal against England. The return of Ellie Carpenter immediately saw a decrease in international minutes. Van Egmond no way through. Then some nice touches. Kim Shin-ji, the number 8, getting more and more involved after a nervy start for her. It was she that gave the ball away to Tamika Yallop for that first chance of the match. Heatley. Big switch for Jamila Rankin. With Ford. Cooney cross. They've managed to just create a little half opening, but Heatley had to stretch for that ball in the middle of the park. Van Egmond. Won it back, but again only briefly. The Matildas too far from the ball at the moment. Grant steals in this time, and again it's a wayward pass. There are opportunities there, but you have to be a lot more precise in the passing to make them stick.
I think a lot of the Matildas' best opportunities have come from a well-executed press. They've not created a lot themselves today, but as you alluded, there's some big names not out there, and a game like today really highlights the importance of a succession plan in every position for the Matildas. There's one of the future stars there in Holly McNamara, a little worse for wear. But it's so important in every position. You see a very experienced central defenders with Catley and Kennedy in there, but that in turn needs a replacement, a succession plan at left back, at right back. So huge opportunities. I think Tom Samani's done a reasonable job in his interim position. It's been longer than most anticipated, but he's an excellent people person. He's an excellent coach. He knows the game inside out.
Well, despite it being an interim role for him, he's already given 8 Matildas debuts in this period. At the helm, we've seen other players return from the international wilderness as well. Like Jamila Rankin, who earned her first cap back in 2022 in that heavy defeat against Spain. In the heat of Portugal, Lee Go-min. Foul by Grant. No doubt about the foul, but Grant has also just upped the ante a little bit in the last few minutes to try and put the brakes on Korea Republic coming down that left-hand side. Lee Go-min's had a good influential match so far, the number 19. Chu with G, back for Chu. Lee Yong-ju. Dispossessed. Holly McNamara, chance for her to stretch her legs. She finds the run of Caitlin Ford. Ford shoots, it's well struck, palmed away by Kim Min-jong. Best opportunity of the match so far for the Matildas, just before half-time.
Yeah, great combination play. They've had so much promise, McNamara and Ford. The roles switch there. Caitlin Ford, blistering run in behind. Probably had more time than she anticipated, but forced to save.
Holly McNamara was trying to make up the ground in the middle, having released Caitlin Ford. Here's Yallop now. 1-4, Ford to chase. She'll get there. Flag stays down. No way past Shin Na-yong though. Good challenge from the career public number 7. 3 minutes of stoppage time. Ji So-yoon back with her captain. All the way back to Kim Min-jung. She is one of those Incheon Red Angels players in the side. The number 6 there on the ball, Lee Som-ju, another. Casey Farr fouled by Emily Van Egmond. It will be Lee Som-ju to take this free kick. Shin Na-yong. Lim again, all the way back to her goalkeeper. Korea Republic happy to take the sting out of these final moments of the first half. All the way back to the keeper again. And again, the Matildas not looking to put the pressure on. Sit back, you can see that front four when Van Egmond pushes up alongside Holly McNamara. Lee Go-min again. Space for Kim Shin-ji, the AS Roma midfielder, gets it wide to Kim Hye-ri. Now Choi, Yuri. Ball towards Lee Go-min. Intercepted. And now the chance again for Holly McNamara to use her pace. And she's fouled there. This could be a yellow card. It is for the number 6, Lim Son-ju. It was a fairly violent fall in the end.
You can see McNamara's in a little bit of pain here. Hopefully nothing too serious at all, but she's got blistering power. She's had a few really good moments in this opening first half. Again, a little bit isolated at times, but you can see she's eager to check, get the ball at feet, and also turn and receive it in behind, and that's really forced the foul.
Well, let's have a look at that Caitlin Ford opportunity from a couple of minutes ago. Released here by Holly McNamara.
Yeah, nice early release from McNamara. Beautifully timed run from Caitlin Ford. I do feel like she had a bit more time. It's a really tough angle at pace. Keeper does really well, but I do think Caitlin Ford would have been better off just backing herself there. Probably Matilda's best moment of the half, and you'd have to say 0-0 going into half-time is probably a fairly accurate reflection of this opening stanza.
Well, you can see where the impact was, face into the turf at Sydney Football Stadium for Holly McNamara. But she will also know that she's got the pace to worry this Korea Republic defence. Seeing it not for the first time this evening there. It's another free kick where the Matildas have looked long from the boot of Steph Catley so far from this near side. Harakuni Cross is also again standing over this one. Kennedy and Van Egmond in the middle, along with Heatley and Ford. Here's Cooney cross, cleared. Rankin can't control her pass. Holly McNamara is ready to rejoin, but there's no more time. An entertaining first half of football at the Sydney Football Stadium, in which the Matildas started very brightly with a good energy, creating the first half chances of the match. But then Korea Republic fought back. Their Australian nemesis, Ji So-yoon, with a couple of good efforts before Caitlin Ford finished the half with the Matildas on top. But no scores so far, no goals for either side. Half-time in Sydney, Australia 0, Korea Republic 0. And we'll head off to a quick break and be back with all the half-time analysis coming up. Don't go away.
Give a big cheer to Sydney for our Coles and Mini Roos halftime hero from local Mini Roos clubs right here in Sydney.
first time in 2025. Over 35,000 strong fans here at Allianz Stadium, and there are no goals thus far. 0-0 at the halftime break. They're loving what they can see. Caitlin Ford, well, she had to deal with an earlier injury. She's playing with her nose very much stuffed up, but she's still firing away for the Matildas. Welcome back and joined by Grace Gill and Elise Keller-Knight. No goals thus far, team. KK, over to you first. The Matildas are kind of playing it pretty safe against Korea Republic so far.
Yeah, it's a conservative style of football. I think with a younger, more inexperienced team, you can expect there to be mistakes, but then you also expect these unpredictable, exciting moments, but we're not really getting enough of these on-goal chances at the moment.
It was the Matildas that did start the stronger before Korea Republic tried to really come into the game as the first half went on.
Yeah, and we see that momentum shifted in Korea's favour. They got more of the ball, they got more chances, and they had a little bit more time and space in the final third, allowing players like number 10G, who is such a threat for Korea, just too much time and space on the ball. So just took the foot off the pedal a little bit as that first half wore on, and too many chances opening up for South Korea.
Yeah, around that 30-minute mark, you saw Korea come into the game and they had 4 chances in 4 minutes, and they started to get some momentum and started to get sustained possession in our half and made us feel a little bit more uncomfortable. They're really good at using the width, attacking our fullbacks, taking on 1v1, but lucky for us, they're not as fast as us.
To be fair, the Matildas in recent games, they haven't created a lot of chances in terms of shots on target. It's really let them down in the final third. They're going to have to capitalise on those moments should they want to get a result tonight.
And you can see as the first half it did wear on, so did these half-time match stats. They really changed, and in the end it ends up being in Korea Republic's gain in terms of the possession, the number of passes and the shots of goal. Look, 4 to 5 on target were exactly the same when it comes to what both sides are putting out. And I just wonder what's going to be that spark and what will be the change that we'd like to see in the second half, KK.
Yeah, when I look at the team that we've got out there now, there's not a lot of aerial presence. So we've had a couple of free kicks, corners, but really when I look at the team, the only dangerous player in the air is Alana. So I think having another player that gives that threat, especially against Asian teams, because you generally do have a better physical advantage. So for me, the answer is Heyman.
There are a couple of moments in the opening half, of course, finding that chemistry, finding that charisma amongst each player as well. A couple of cheap turnovers as well, which always are going to hurt.
Yeah, passing up possession way too loosely, whether it's passes to the wrong side of the body, the wrong decision making in not necessarily high pressure moments either, just coughing up possession a little too loosely. These are going to be things that in the halftime break Tommy Samani really hones in on, because you tidy up a few of those and suddenly you get more sustained possession, a little bit better quality than what we're seeing at the moment.
Yeah, there is a little bit to think about for the Matildas. We're off to a short break. Do not go anywhere, of course, because we are inching close to a huge second half between the Matildas and Korea Republic. There are some Teletubbies and they're in the right colours, and don't forget you can grab your very own CommBank Matildas Nike jersey at shop.footballaustralia.com.au. We'll be back soon.
That's amazing because Tonight we recognise the former CommBank Matilda Ellie Brush. Ellie made her international.
Well, the runway is short, but the action has begun for the Matildas as they inch closer to the Asian Cup here on a home soil next year in March. Caitlin Ford, some friendly fire there. Gosh, the nose is all blocked up, but off she went, continued. We were worried there could be a concussion injury. Then Holly McNamara, goodness me, with this tackle in the centre of the pitch. She did get back up and continued to work away, but it's been great as well, not to see the injuries, but to see Holly McNamara and Caitlin Ford build their relationship and their chemistry in the first half. So for the Subway subs, Grace Gill and Elise Keller-Knight, who are you bringing on in the second half to break that 0-0 deadlock?
Well, a couple of players for me. I'd love to see Claire Wheeler get a few minutes. We spoke about the Matildas coughing up possession a little too much. She's a really secure player at the middle of the park. And two, Michelle Heyman, a good aerial threat. KK mentioned they haven't had that much in the way of aerial presence in the first half, so I'd like to see Heyman.
Yeah, I agree. I want to see Wheels. Give her some game time. It's going to be amazing to get her on the pitch. And then who do I actually think is going to be able to change the game? Fowler. She needs to come on.
Well, let's see whether it's going to happen. The second half is a minute away.
Japanese referee gets us underway, and it's Kyra Cooney-Cross on the charge, right from kickoff, and in the end only a foul could stop her about 26-27 metres out from goal, directly in front. Not a bad start to the second half, Amy Chapman.
Well, right on cue there from Kyra Cooney-Cross. We were just saying how we'd love to see players like Emily Van Egmond, Kyra, getting on the ball a little bit more. They are the link. They are that X factor that brings in the midfield, allows time for that overload. We want to see them confidently dribbling and linking up with players so they're not so isolated in attack. There's a nice little opening push from Kyra. She's clearly fired up after half-time.
No doubt about the foul either from Shin Na-yong. It's cleaned up a little bit by Charlie Grant. And now an opportunity. It was a bright start to the first half. Will it be an even better start to the second? Steph Catley and Alana Kennedy standing over it. Alana Kennedy The big central defender is something of a free kick specialist in this side. She is the last one to place the ball. Huge wall. 7 players in it for Korea Republic. Goalkeeper right in the middle of the goal. So you can pick your spot. It will be Kennedy. And it's into that great red wall. Back in from Grant, might yet fall. It's there, Heatley's there, McNamara as well. They haven't managed to prevent the corner. You can see that Holly McNamara, as there were legs flying everywhere, has picked up another knock.
Well, look, good off the boot from Alana Kennedy. You can see exactly where she's going for, but the wall from Korea does its job perfectly.
The signal came early there from Kyra Cooney-Cross. Second corner of the match for the Matildas, and it comes. Near post, it's a good ball. It's a very strong defensive header from Choi Yuri. Now Catley keeps it alive with Cooney-Cross again. Grant. Had an option with Rankin to her right, came back left with Cooney-Cross, who's fouled again. And again it's Choi Yuri doing the dirty work. Well, Amy, we saw in the first half Australia's dominance was from that high pressing game. When that stopped, Korea Republic were able really to get control of the midfield, and that is probably concerning for Tommy Simani.
Yeah, I think Korea Republic really grew into that first half, and you saw created some opportunities, stretched the Matildas at times, but as we discussed when we look at the Matildas game.
As he goes, G, we'll get back to that as Korea Republic have numbers forward here. Lee Go-min, G, So-yoon again. Now wide with Kim Gyeri. Choi Yuri, well defended. And again from Jamila Rankin.
Just to continue there, Robbie, the 2 best chances that really came for the Matildas was a foot race in open space, and on cue we see Holly McNamara with another run in behind, but we just need a little more foot on the ball, centrally in particular. M. Van Egmond, the link-up player, the number 10, that's your role to bring in every player and allow for those overloads, so these attacks just aren't so isolating. The press has been good from the Matildas, but they need numbers.
Only 4 players on the pitch for the Matildas took part in that 1-0 defeat to Korea Republic 3 years ago in the Asian Cup. This is nice football again. Here's McNamara squaring the ball. Catley was at the edge of the box screaming for it. Ball back in and claimed by Kim Mun-jong. Well, it was a presentable opportunity and they just couldn't find a taker in the middle.
It deserved an opportunity, didn't it? Great movement, great one-touch play. Oh, millimetres off there, but beautiful. That's probably the best moment for the Matildas so far.
Steph Catley, the catalyst for that, stepping up from the centre of defence. Emily Van Egmond also involved. Choi Yuri's header on. Nice again from Kyra Cooney-Cross. That's a great turn. Van Egmond looks long. One for McNamara to chase. It might have actually been intended for Caitlin Ford, I think. Just didn't quite get the angles right. McNamara's pace is a real threat to this Korea backline. Jamila Rankin with the throw, can't beat the Korea captain, but she's got it back again. The challenge by Choi. Korea Republic yet to send any players to start warming up at the start of the second half. Tommy Simani has a trio of Matildas. Down near the corner where this throw is being taken. McNamara improvising and does well. Still going, little touch for Caitlin Ford. It's well defended again, Casey Fair that time. Stealing the ball away. Everybody back at the moment for Korea Republic. The throw for Kim Hyeri, one of the captains of this side. Has just joined Wuhan in China, her first season outside of Korean football. And the veteran number 20. Here she is. And now Ji So-yoon, great switch of play. Lee Ge-min inviting Ji So-yoon back forward. Space here for the Korea playmaker. She looks up, crosses back post. Too far for Casey Fair. And another little half opportunity that doesn't get exploited to its full potential for Korea.
G's had a couple of good opportunities, had some nice shape on it, overhit that cross. Certainly Matildas look stretched when they lose possession higher up the pitch. You saw Jamila Rankin was nice and high, got caught out of position, which created that space there.
Lee, Shin, G sliding in, loses out, well played Caitlin Ford, got Van Egmond ahead of her, McNamara arriving now on her right hand side, Caitlin Ford looks wide for the Australian number 10, Emily Van Egmond, her cross took a little touch, it's an own goal, yes! The defensive header from Lim Song-ju, too difficult for a goalkeeper to deal with. And it's Emily Van Egmond's cross, turned into her own net, that gives the Matildas the lead 8 minutes into the second half.
And there was a blistering transition by none other than Caitlin Ford. Emily Van Egmond, perhaps the hero on this occasion. Matildas didn't get the final touch, but that doesn't matter. Brilliant transition, 3 on 3.
She was stretching for it, Lim. She just couldn't reach it. And there was nothing Kim Min-jung could do about it. You'll see it perfectly from that angle. Under pressure from Charlie Grant, who's covered just about every blade of grass on this pitch this evening. She was there again. Emily Van Egmond with the telling contribution in match number 157 in green and gold for her. I don't think it will go down as goal number 32.
Really difficult to defend that cross there. Clever from Emily Van Egmond. She pulled it back on her right foot, her more confident foot. She just curled it, just dropped it right in behind that defence. Incredibly difficult to defend. And of course, the Matildas had numbers attacking with intent.
So we're going to see a change. The 17-year-old American-Korean Casey Fair makes way, replaced by Moon Eun-ju, number 13, into the contest. Came off the bench in the 3-0 win over India in their last outing, has 4 goals in 6 matches. And was best rookie in the WK League last season with Hwa-cheon, who finished premiers but did not win it. Like in Australia, they have a finals series to decide the winner. A lot of countries following the Australian lead. The French First Division is now also decided in a playoff series, not first past the post. So Olympique Lyonnais have a little bit more work to do this year. Ellie Carpenter and Joe Montemuro Here's Kennedy. Cooney cross, a little touch. Heatley again, can't quite control. Here's Choi Yuri. Inviting Lee Go-min forward. The cross, that might have taken a little deflection as well. Ball claimed by Tegan Micah.
Hasn't had a lot to do today, Micah, but she's looked confident when she's had. She's, as you alluded, lost her top spot over at Liverpool. It's very competitive. And she's been in great form, so she'll be very happy to be back out there today, coaching from the back.
The fact that this match was scoreless at half-time is the fourth match in a row in which the Matildas have failed to score in the opening 45 minutes. Sam Kerr's return to training, yet to rediscover the way, or inspire the way to goal for her teammates still in her absence. G gets it wide to Kim, cleared by Grant. Forward towards McNamara. Choi Yuri. She and Lee Go-min, who play with Emily Van Egmond at Birmingham, have actually played together since they were 12 years old, all the way through, including college, many club sides as well along the way, and in the national team, and now at club level in England. Here is Moon. New introduction at the expense of Casey Fair for Lee Go-min. Back with Chu. Shin with Lim. Kim. Up the line with G. Clever feet again, but Jamila Rankin did very well.
Jamila's been excellent defensively today. She's had a tough task out there. Casey Fair, of course, Ji-sun as well. I think defensively she's been really strong.
There's the ball for G again. Rankin getting in nice and tight, not making life easy for the former Chelsea star. She's had to do a lot of running, and I think the first signs of perhaps a little bit of cramp just sneaking in there as well. It's her first ever start for the Matildas, just her second ever appearance. Just 21 years of age, having played 45 times for Brisbane over 3 years, and then 1 season at Melbourne Victory before heading to Hoffenheim. Came through the ranks in northern New South Wales. Looks like we're going to see a couple of changes. We heard who the girls expected to see at half-time. Claire Wheeler is there, and Caitlin Torpey as well, preparing to come into the contest. Well, here's the goal, here's how it all happened, and it was Caitlin Ford who was the driving force.
Yeah, it was a great breakaway run from Caitlin Ford. Thought this might have slowed down the attack a little bit, but it's worked out. Had the Korean defence on the back foot there, and it just floats in back post, really difficult to defend.
Now, Jamila Rankin is coming off, so there is very quickly a little addition to the substitutes coming on, because Courtney Nevin is also going to come on for her 29th appearance for the Matildas. Jamila Rankin was about to run back on, but Tommy Samani just confirming that she's coming off. For the moment, the Matildas with just 10 players on the pitch. Cooney cross back with Heatley. That was a good switch of play for Yallop. Cooney cross again, accelerates, that's good play. Gets the ball wide with Yallop. Another opportunity perhaps for the Matildas Kim Hye-ri doing the defending. Yallop keeps it alive though with Catley. Cooney cross again. The little one to Catley. Well, she's done brilliantly, Steph Catley. Still going. And in the end, Moon across just to shepherd it out of play. Perhaps there could have been a free kick before that. That's what Ford and Catley are asking.
Yeah, Catley a little too honest for her own good, I think, here. Great combination play, a little flick outside of the foot. She gets a shirt pull, she gets pushed and shoved, and I think by then it's a little too far gone, but I think Kyra Cooney-Cross has come out firing in this second half. Whatever Tommy Samani said to her has worked well. When a player turns and takes on players, that opens up space, and I think those combinations have been key.
So Jamila Rankin replaced by Courtney Nevin. Winona Heatley is going to make way for Claire Wheeler, and Holly McNamara is replaced by Caitlin Torpey. So Tommy Samani heading to the bench with a triple change just 17 minutes into the second half.
It's a great shift from Holly McNamara, and Winnie Heatley spoke about how important those roles were, the succession plans of the Matildas. I thought they both had really good performances today. More minutes for Holly coming back in, a tough position, that holding number 6 role for Winnie Heatley, but she's done exceptionally well. And the Heatley family, a great football family. I think I mentioned to you, Robbie, there's another one coming up as well. Fantastic young player, Tully Heatley, so one to keep an eye on.
Courtney Nevin back in the Matildas fold. She was left out of the She Believes Cup squad. Hasn't been playing a whole lot of football for Leicester in the WSL either. Just 2 appearances in 2025 in the league. Wheeler, first touch, finds Yallop. Ford gets front position, does well, but the flag's up for offside.
Well, it looked promising, didn't it, Robbie? Caitlin Ford, good early first touch. I think she initially just got floated offside. Claire Wheeler getting straight into the mix.
Korea looking to get back on the front foot. Charlie Grant doing the defending. Moon, who's come into a very advanced midfield role. Caitlin Ford, good work back to goal against Shin Na-young. Now, Caitlin Torpey, her first intervention. She does well to find Van Egmond. Shot blocked. Wheeler arriving. She's been fouled there, surely. Referee allowing the advantage. Well, there wasn't much of it. Claire Wheeler and Emily Van Egmond both asking where the free kick was.
Oh, a little bit chaotic. I thought originally Caitlin Torpey looked slightly offside, but it was play on here. She did really well. Stretched to get this back to Emily Van Egmond. Well blocked, and then just chaos from here.
The challengers flying in. Let's head back down to Neve Owens, who's with us on the sidelines. Neve.
Yeah, the Matildas players themselves having a little word with the referee, Robbie, feeling that there's a few challenges that are being left unchecked out there in the middle at the moment as they look to really up the ante now that they have that 1-goal lead. Charlie Grant, Robbie, has covered so much ground tonight. It has been incredible. She's played on both edges. She's moved left back to right back. She obviously in that inverted winger role has spent plenty of time up at the other end of the park as well, which considering her run at club level at the moment, she's not getting a lot of minutes with Spurs. And for that, those 3 players who are playing with Spurs having quite a tough time in the WSL at the moment. Hayley Rasso with her injury in the last training session before the girls headed back for the international window, and that quad injury now keeping her out. And Claire Hunt sitting over just to my right here, not yet getting any game time here. But for the Spurs trio, it's Charlie Grant who has covered an incredible amount of ground out there tonight.
She is a bundle of energy, the Matildas number 22. Here is Cooney-Cross, the orchestra conductor in midfield for this side. Yallop can't quite bring that ball under control. G again pulling the strings for Korea Republic. They've found space. Shin getting it wide for Lee Go-min. Nice dribbling, great tackle. Claire Wheeler right on the edge of the area. It had to be perfectly timed, and it was. Caitlin Ford wrestling and losing out ultimately. Here's Ji So-yun again. Kim Hye-ri down the right-hand side. Deep cross to the back post, beyond everyone. And that's Charlie Grant. Who gets there, just overhits it to herself. Don't forget the Socceroos are also in action in June. They're taking on Japan in Perth, a massive match for qualification for the FIFA Men's World Cup next year in North America. Search Socceroos to get your tickets to cheer them on there. Meanwhile here, it's Korea Republic again. Just too much holding on from Everton's Claire Wheeler on Ji So-yun.
A couple of early important contributions from Wheeler. She was the one who tucked back here. A little bit audacious with that pressing there, but certainly she got the important touch there on a great breakaway for Korea.
Long ball towards Moon. Ji So-yun following up. Nice little touch around Kim Shin-ji. Good ball from Cooney Cross into the feet of Ford. Lovely turn. Here's Yallop. Yallop shoots. Not the power to score a second goal against Korea Republic after that first in 2011.
Yeah, great opportunity for Yallop there. Just didn't get the connection she was after, but I love watching Caitlin Ford in full flight. See as a really quick and powerful but clever number 9. She can still turn on a dime and create opportunities for all those around her.
Courtney Nevin all the way back to Tegan Micah. She looks long towards Van Egmond. Good glancing header. Only as far as Kim. Choi Yuri. Can't keep it in though. She's worked hard this evening on both flanks and through the middle. Korea's number 11. Nevin. With the throw. Talking about the Tottenham Hotspur woes for the Matildas. Claire Hunt did return to the bench last week against Chelsea after missing for 5 matches. It has been a difficult period. Hunt arrived from Paris Saint-Germain, was immediately into the side, but a Tottenham side that hasn't enjoyed the greatest of seasons either. Shin Na-yong. It's a nice turn from Kim Shin-ji. Lee Young-ju. Here is Kim again. Went straight from university to AS Roma without playing for Korean WK League side. Kim. Well played, Nevin. Closing down the passing channel down the right-hand side. Lee. With Kim Hye-ri. Oh, how about that? Lovely touch from G, but unable to keep it in play.
She's classy. She'll be a little disappointed with some of the opportunities she hasn't capitalised on today. She's still so classy. So much confidence. She's an absolute icon in Korean football. Michelle Heyman and Mary Fowler
coming on to replace Tamiki Yallop and Caitlin Ford. Another couple of very popular faces onto the pitch for the Matildas. Mary Fowler, who leads the WSL for assists for her Manchester City side, who have recently had a change of coach and have been in a bit of a bad run of form themselves. They've dropped out of the title chase for the moment anyway. Also bundled out of the Champions League. But she's been in outstanding form this season.
Yeah, holistically, it's been a fantastic move for Mary. She's thriving in one of the top leagues and top clubs in the entire world. And if we had to look at any silver linings of...
Here's another perhaps opportunity. That's a great run and very well defended from Steph Catley, showing why she is in the centre of defence these days.
I was going to say, if they, there was any silver linings at all to the Sam Kerr being absent, is we get to see the other players, the likes of Michelle Heyman, as a great recovery here from Steph Catley. But one of those shining lights has been Michelle Heyman out of the disappointing story for Sam Kerr. Same as Holly McNamara. They get their opportunities, they get their comeback stories, and that's what football is all about.
Oh, Michelle Heyman returned and was back in the Olympics, scoring the winner in a 6-5 match against Zambia. I mean, considering she'd retired from international football 4 years earlier, it's a remarkable story. The all-time leading scorer in the A-League women's competition. Here she is, giving chase. Playing for Canberra United. Min, I think, arrived a little late on the scene now. Here goes Cooney Cross again. It's been an outstanding second half for her. Kyra Cooney Cross still. She's got Heyman in the middle. She goes it alone. Can't find the finish from a difficult angle, but it was another great run.
It's a great breakaway from Kyra Cooney Cross here, and this is one of the real strengths of the Matildas, is they are so quick, they are so powerful in transition. You see Michelle Heyman steaming past players as well. This is where this Korean side perhaps lacks in that physicality there, and they're exposed. Matildas unable to capitalise.
Another couple of changes coming now.
Substitutions for Korea Republic, number 19,
Lee Go-min comes off, replaced by Kang Chae-rim and Choi Da-chong. He's also coming on for Choi Yuri. So a double change for Korea Republic. I was just going to finish on Ji So-yoon. You mentioned the Korean superstar that she is after that little rainbow flick she did. She was just named Korean Player of the Year for the 10th time. It's not a bad return. Catley. The Republic felt they had gone out of play, but the referee's assistant just took the eye off the ball for a moment. Kennedy. Tomorrow night on 10 Bold and Paramount Plus, Adelaide versus Sydney FC. Massive match in the race for finals football in the A-League men's competition. 3 points separating 6th from 7th. And now Kang Chae-rim back on the front foot. The number 23's done well inside and out, turned behind by Mary Fowler. Just the second corner of the evening for the away side.
Nevin stands strong there in her first real test, first real one-on-one. Great recovery from Mary Fowler.
It will be Kim Hyeri who's coming across to take this corner. Lean out swinger with the right boot. Korea Republic setting up just outside the penalty spot. And Matildas defending their 6-yard box in a zone. In it comes. Delivery is not bad, so is the defensive header from Alana Kennedy. All the way back with Chu Hyo-ju. We haven't seen as much of her in the second half as we did in the first. Kim Hyeri back with Kim Shin-ji. There's Chu again. Clever flick. Again from G. She is the touch of class in this Korea Republic side. Now, the substitutes looking to combine. I think that just skimmed off the crossbar. And behind, Tegan Micah, let's say, had it covered.
Yeah, Tegan looked very casual covering that near post there. I think the rest of the crowd had their hearts in their mouth. Just skims the top of the crossbar there, but no, great little combination play again. Korea Republic growing in confidence.
Here is Alana Kennedy with Steph Catley. The Matildas for the moment holding firm onto that 1-0 lead, courtesy of a Emily Van Egmond provoked own goal from the number 6 Lim Sonju. Long for Heyman, it's a good run in behind Lim. She'll need support, she finds it in the form of Mary Fowler. Fowler, lovely dribble, onto the left foot, shoots! Oh, and just past the post. Off the boot, it looked like it was in for all money. And it just agonisingly faded away.
Well, it looked very close, didn't it? Fowler trying to get onto her left boot. You know how confident she is, and it's millimetres from that far post. All started from a pacey run in behind from Michelle Heyman. And Mary Fowler, you put your money on her every day.
Took a bit of a deflection on the way through. Now, corner number 3 for the Matildas. Steph Catley with the left-footed in-swinger. In it comes. Wheeler was there. Nevin arriving. Not quickly enough. Cleared. Charlie Grant, she's letting that ball bounce. She gets there and cleans up in the end. Settles things back with Mary Fowler. Rooney cross again. And she was just about to look long towards Courtney Nevin when Steph Catley ran across her line of vision. Here's Catley now with Fowler. A slip. There have been a couple of slips on the surface here. Kim. Nevin's header finds Cooney Cross. Catley with Kennedy. The Matildas can try and settle things down a little bit. They've been open to a couple of transitions in the last 5 or so minutes, which they will want to reduce as much as possible. Fowler does well, just pressuring Kim Hyeri to avoid giving away the goal kick. Cooney Cross has won possession back 8 times this evening for the Matildas, more than any other player as Claire Wheeler goes on the charge. Good confident play from the number 6, who's just come in and is slipping right into the system perfectly.
Yeah, Wheeler's been really good since coming on. She's made an impact. She's confident on the ball. She's threading the needle left, right, and she's dictating. She's saying, give me the ball, let me run with it. That's a great impact from Claire Wheeler off the bench.
Cross as well. Corner number 4. She's got Catley just there if she wants her. The signal, the header from Heyman, unmarked, it was on target. Cleared at the last. Torpy back with Cooney Cross. Caitlin Torpy again. Fowler. Nice little turn again with Wheeler. The Matildas really starting to play with some confidence all of a sudden. Wheeler and Fowler have made a difference. Those chances have been a boost for the confidence as well. It's a great ball in from Nevin. Here's Torpy. It just won't sit. The shot's blocked. Torpy again. Holds on to possession, as does Cooney Cross. Grant, her good mate in London, Cooney Cross. It's another good turn from Wheeler. Finding space with Nevin forward. She's got a good left foot on her, Courtney Nevin. The cutback for Fowler. Space on the edge of the area. Shot deflected. Well, the Matildas are coming home with a wet sail.
It's arguably been their best 5 minutes of football from the Matildas there. You can see the area of the field that they're starting to get these combination plays with. They're being patient, they're moving, they're confident enough to take players on. Wheeler, Fowler getting in good positions and demanding it. This is the football we love to see from the Matildas.
They've battled hard, they've had moments in the game. Shin Sang-woo's side. But the Matildas are looking for the second goal to take this one beyond their Korean opponents now. Cooney Cross. This time, the keeper Kim Min-jung makes the save. Let's head back down to the sidelines with Niamh Owens, who has been enjoying the crowd all evening, Niamh.
I sure have. There is so much gold all around Allianz Stadium, Robbie. We've just had that crowd figure up on the big screen. 37,199 here tonight to see this clash between the Tillies and Korea Republic. I've got mates in Newey who are looking for tickets for that game on Monday night as well, and they reckon they're selling like hotcakes. I think the atmosphere on Monday night will be incredible in the Hunter Valley as well. And hopefully some of these players we've seen come on and inject themselves with such positivity in the second half, the likes of Mary Fowler, they may even get to see start on Monday night.
Absolutely. Don't forget, if you need your tickets for Newcastle, just search Matildas on the internet and the link will pop up like magic. And don't forget, if you want to play football like your CommBank Matildas heroes as well, find a club near you. The seasons are just getting underway. If you don't have a club yet, head to playfootball.com.au to register now. Great sport for all ages as well. Maybe a future or a past Matilda. Ball in to... Oh, that's a good defense. The header from the number 7, Shin Na-yong, was heading towards that bottom corner. And a fantastic save from Tegan Micah.
That's brilliant from Micah. Difficult to see so many bodies in front her at full stretch. Fantastic save. Hasn't had to do much, but has stood up when she was needed.
And just a little reminder that if you don't have a 2-goal cushion, anything can still happen. Micah again. Really having to work hard to preserve the goal. She did it brilliantly under her own crossbar, not once but twice. And that really was a good save to deny Shin as well. Now Wheeler trying to break away. Free kick goes Korea's way. There was plenty of holding on from all the players there. Wheeler, who's been at the heart of everything since coming on, heads back to do the defensive duties now. Micah sets her two-woman wall. Ji So-yun and Kim Hye-ri standing over the free kick. It is Ji, and it falls again to the substitute, Kang Chae-rim, the number 23, who blazed over. Another little warning, though, for the Matildas.
Yeah, it's heating up in these final moments. Korea growing in confidence. They're pushing. They want another win. They're fourth for this year. And, of course, the Matildas looking for their first win for this season. What it would mean for them, for their confidence, particularly missing so many key players.
Catley back for Cooney Cross. She's given it away, though. Kang finds Lee. G, lovely touch again, taking over. G still spots the run of Kang at the back post. Well, she's a real architect, the Korean number 10. She's pulling the strings, and that was a very good opportunity for Korea Republic. Well, these two get to do it all over again. On Monday in Newcastle, the match live and exclusive on Paramount Plus. Coverage starting at 6:45 local time. A sixth and final change. Claire Hunt comes into the game to replace Emily Van Egmond, who played that crucial role in the goal. Claire Hunt, as she came on, was showing the new defensive structure to her teammates there. She's moved in between Alana Kennedy and Steph Catley at the moment. Claire Hunt, the third of that trio of Tottenham players that Neve was talking about earlier. The Korea captain, Lee Young-ju with Lim. Now Shin. Kim Shin-ji. Kennedy all the way back to Micah. Another change coming for Korea Republic. It's the number 15, Lee Eun-young, who sprints into the game up front. She's another attacking player. Plays for Changnyeong in Korea, 23 years of age. Just the one goal in international football to her name so far. She comes on to replace the AS Roma midfielder Kim Shin-ji. Five minutes of stoppage time has begun. 5 minutes added on to the end of the 90. Lim with Moon. Now Lee. Just trying to lift the ball over the top. Is there a free kick there? There was a solid collision. Alana Kennedy helping her opposite number back to her feet. Now Caitlin Torpey. The run of Heyman is a good one. Foul is in the middle. Heyman. The overlapping run. Torpey's cross move just ran out of steam.
Yeah, not too convincing in the final third there, but obviously they've been on the back foot for a little while. It was a nice 3v3, nice combination play, a little indecisive perhaps, but it was almost a tug-of-war in that opening 45. But when it mattered, the Matildas stepped up, they brought a bit of flair, they brought a bit of X-factor in this second half, and can they hang on?
And they've switched essentially to a 5-4-1 formation now with just Heyman up front, Fowler on the left, Torpy on the right, Cooney, Cross and Wheeler in the middle, and then a line of 5 across the back to try and preserve this lead. Moon back with her captain Lee. Here is Lim. Girls in attendance still starry-eyed, watching their heroes, waving scarves. And of course, heading down towards the front rows in the final minutes, hoping to grab a signature, which has become the great tradition of the Matildas. That ball runs out of play. People don't head for the exits in the last 5 minutes. They head for the down to the barrier.
It's wonderful to see, and it's all a part of the atmosphere. And of course, the Matildas so generous with their time, such likeable characters, such wonderful role models. It's been a pretty good performance from the Matildas today. We talk about the importance of performing well against strong Asian teams, and these are the teams that are going to block us from major tournaments, from Olympics and the World Cups. So performing here today without 4, 5, 6 of your best players, it's been a pretty good all-round performance.
Another foul goes Korea Republic's way. Courtney Nevin helping up Kang Che-rim. She's made an impact since coming on, the number 23 in this wide right wing position. The cross in. Lee Eun-Jung finds Ji. Benefit off the right boot. Was not too far away in the end, although Tegan Micah was comfortable enough. We're into the last 60 seconds. Heyman. She has had impact up front that Elise Keller-Knight was talking about at halftime, that aerial threat as well, and can also play back to goal. It's a very different profile to Holly McNamara, who started the match in that number 9 role. In the end, Tegan Micah just really called into action for that outstanding save to deny Shin Ne-yong's header about 5 minutes ago. Otherwise, the danger caused by Ji Sun-yoon never fully materialized. As the final whistle goes, confirming the Matildas are back to winning ways. Emily Van Egmont's cross turned into her own goal by Lee Song-jun in the 54th minute. It was a match in which both sides dominated periods as the game ebbed and flowed. Ji Sun-yoon underlined her class, the Korean number 10 in this contest. A familiar face to Matildas fans, but Tommy Samani has got his side back to winning ways. It may be his last window as interim, as we are told FA are getting closer and closer to a permanent replacement. The important thing is the Matildas are back in the winner's circle. A deserved win in the end at the Sydney Football Stadium. All finished here. Matildas 1, Korea Republic 0.
And the goal that won it may be attributed as an own goal to Lim Seon-ju. Emily Van Egmond played an almighty part in it this evening, and it's just great to see some of the chemistry building, Grace Gill and Elise Callon-Knight, between the players that we saw in the park tonight. We knew that it was a little bit of Generation Next, a bit of a sprinkling of new combinations and new partnerships across the park. But in your summation, how do you wrap up what you saw here at Allianz Stadium, Grace?
Well, I think I think Tom Samani will be happy with the result, but there'll be a lot to think about. It was less than a convincing performance across the 90 minutes. You mentioned the goal, an own goal in the end. Not too many chances created, really meaningful shots on target, shots on goal by the Matildas, and that's plagued them in the last couple of windows as well. So not entirely convincing across the board.
Yeah, for me, the second half was a lot more promising. I think having 5 subs come in and have a positive impact. It was a lot more exciting to watch. There's a lot more chances on goal. The game opened up. But when you play against an Asian team that plays in this compact block, it's always a tight game. But when we move to the second half, there's more spaces and we can get in behind.
Let's hear from the player that made her starting debut tonight for the Matildas, Jamila Rankin.
Jamila Rankin, now listen to that noise. Your family are here in the crowd tonight. Your starting debut, how special a moment is that?
Yeah, I think it was incredible. I think I've worked so hard, and to get this opportunity, I'm so grateful to represent my country on home soil.
Also a clean sheet as well as a victory, and they've been few and far between for the Matildas in recent times. How important is that 0, is that donut on the score sheet?
Yeah, I think it's so important as a team. I think if you keep the clean sheet, you can only at least get a point out of it, and we went out there and scored, so we got the 3 points tonight, and I think that's the most important thing.
They're a tough side, they're a physical side, and a really tough side to break down. In terms of preparation for the Asian Cup next year, how important is this window?
Yeah, I think it's so important. I think getting to test ourselves against teams that we'll be playing against in the Asian Cup, I think the experience is invaluable, and yeah, I think we're trying to make the most out of it.
You got a whole heap of fans as well as family members who are waiting to congratulate you. Well done tonight.
Thank you very much.
Great to hear from Jamila Rankin there. As you heard, we haven't seen her in the green and gold since 2022, and it was a really hard game against Spain. 7-0 was that scoreline when Jamila first came on for the Matildas, but her starting debut tonight and a new look back for. And taking a look at the goal that got it done, Elise Callon-Knight. Emily Van Egmond played a huge part in what we saw unfold.
Yeah, it all came from Caitlin Ford's forward run. I mean, her being able to run at the back line in this open space. As you can see, she picks up the ball and being able to drive. These are the spaces that we want as the Aussies because we're great at running into them, and then being able to draw the defenders towards herself. And, you know, you kind of thought the play was going to end at that point, but then Ems put a ball into a dangerous space, and it is half luck, but it's also luck made. When you put a ball into a dangerous space, it's hard to deal with, and we've turned up with a goal.
It's really hard as well when a player is running at you at speed like Caitlin Ford does. She draws the attention of the defenders. Em Van Egmond, we know she's a great technician on the ball. She has time to look up, get it on her preferred foot. Whether this was intended to be a cross for the head of one of her teammates, it doesn't matter all too much. They'll take the goal. A little lucky in the end, but that all came from the fast break, the quick transition, the work of Caitlin Ford down the centre of the park.
It took a little while before the crowd here, the 37-strong plus got to see Mary Fowler take to the field. They were upstanding, they sat down, but then moments later they were upstanding again, KK, because she came oh so close to a second goal.
Yeah, as you can see, in the second half it really opened up. You had these spaces to take opportunities. The team is the best when it has space to run into, and we saw that when Mary came in. And it's kind of smart not to start her. Like, you're going to see the best out of her in that last 30 minutes of the match. As you can see, great combination play, picks up the ball, and she's got this knack and ability to get a shot away when you don't expect it. Here, she's no way she deserved to have a shot. It should have been blocked, but she's able to sneak it in. Tom actually thought this was going in. You can see him on the broadcast half celebrating. We'll ask him about that later, but, you know, whiskers away.
I think what Mary does really well is pick up the ball between the lines, and it's something that we missed in the first half with this side. But she has this propensity to find a bit of space in between the defence and the midfield line, face forward and create some chances for the team.
I thought looking at the complexion of the second half, Claire Wheeler had an instant impact in what she added when she came on as well, KK.
You could tell she was hungry. She had that tenacity, and you need a midfielder that kind of shakes things up, and she brought that, and I was really impressed with the impact that she had. Obviously, she's hungry. She hasn't had a lot of minutes with the national team of recent times, so I'm glad she got that opportunity in a decent chunk of time on the pitch.
Someone that was outstanding, started and had a decent amount of time on the pitch is Caitlin Ford, and Nevo is with her. Nevo.
Caitlin Ford, opening game win in what was a really physical game out there. How important is that victory, but also that clean sheet for the side?
Yeah, no, it was massive for us, obviously off the back of the